Well, thank you very much. My name is Patrick Baker. I'm the owner of Constructive Solutions. I'll be leading the presentation today. I've pieced together a brief agenda to make sure we stay on track in the limited time that we have. I have a couple of slides on who we are as Constructive Solutions, on who Acumatica is corporately, and as well as technically. And then I thought we'll spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the software, sort of navigating around and moving through the software. The purpose of today is, again, to introduce you to who we are as Constructive Solutions, Acumatica is, and give you a look and the feel. You know, it's our intention that if you're interested, to engage with you in a one-on-one environment to better understand your business requirements and develop a plan to support you in your investigation of Acumatica and its appropriateness to meet the needs of your company. So Constructive Solutions, we're Vancouver-based. We're in our 22nd year in business. We have 23 team members across the country. We're the largest Canadian construction-focused systems integrator, and we have multiple products in our portfolio, all geared towards and servicing the construction and real estate industry. We have over 750 clients across Canada that we support on an ongoing basis and have migrated off of other solutions like Sage 50 and QuickBooks and older legacy-based construction solutions like Jonas and Maestro and Explorer, Eclipse, Conac, those kind of products. So while you may not have changed in a while, we transition about 50 new clients per year. And I believe that our exposure and work with those 750 clients has provided us with best practices in industry. And I believe that we're proven within the Canadian contractor market space. Acumatica, I was approached by Acumatica in 2018 when they first came into the construction space to represent their product in Canada. So my company is a reseller of Acumatica and some Sage construction software. Acumatica is head officed in Seattle, Washington, with development, and they've got 40 developers in Montreal, Mexico City, Moscow. They're well funded and financed. They were acquired by a private equity firm in 2019, EQT Partners, with over $40 billion US in assets under management. And they were acquired into their software group, IFS, which is a global software entity. You know, Acumatica has been in business since they were founded in 2008, had their first product in 2010. And again, as I mentioned, they came into the construction space in 2018 after 2 years of development. They were looking for other vertical markets to go into. They identified construction as being an industry in which the software providers were legacy-based products. And so they identified the construction industry, did a gap analysis, and started building out their product for the construction industry. They have over 6,500 clients globally. They continue to grow rapidly, 98% revenue growth in 2020. They don't sell their product direct. They go through a channel, and they partner with local companies with domain expertise like Constructive Solutions. They have over 375 employees, 80% of which are in R&D, so business analysts and programmers. They're really focused on technology. They pride themselves in customer satisfaction and have a 97% support client satisfaction rating. And over the last series of years, they have an award-winning design that's recognized, and they're the highest ranked in usability for their product. Once we get into the software, you'll see that usability and the intuitive design that they have. So again, ranked by Nucleus and Gartner, and these are standard industry research companies that provide feedback and rankings on the different products, but really high in usability. You know, it's anywhere, anytime, on any device. In 2008, when they started designing the product, it was a series of Microsoft guys that left Microsoft because they felt the pace that Microsoft was proceeding on moving their products to the cloud wasn't fast enough. When they started designing the product, iPhones were out. Mobile technology was prevalent, and they started designing everything that they designed was with the mobile in mind. So on any, it supports all browser types. It works on any mobile device, no matter where you are, any tablet. You know, they have Alexa over here. You can ask, if you have Alexa set up in your network, you can ask Alexa to run a job cost report, and it'll print it through on your printer for you if you like. So they're always looking for ways to apply technology. The AP recognition software that came out in their 2020 R2 release in September, they have 2 major releases a year. You know, it's machine learning, where it'll monitor an AP at constructivesolutions.com. It'll scrape those invoices in. It'll compare against any templates that it's received. If it's received that invoice in the past, it'll have created a template for it, so it can start reading the data on that AP invoice and start doing your AP invoice entry for you. Then with the notifications and alert management system and the workflows natively built into Acumatica, we can route that invoice based on your business rules through an approval process. So they're constantly looking at ways to apply technology to the software to make you, allowing you to work smarter, not harder. Modern growth-friendly licensing. They have an unlimited licensing model. So it's a software as a service. It's cloud-based, hosted in Canada in either Azure or Amazon Web Services. But they believe the more people that are in the software, the more everyone's going to be on the same page. So no limit to the number of user IDs that can be created, no limit to the number of individuals that can be in the software at any given time. So it's, you know, in the legacy-based softwares that I've sold in the past, you need to identify the mix of applications, and then you need to identify the number of individuals, and often even the number of concurrent individuals that are going to be in any one of the applications at a single time. That all goes away with unlimited licensing. So they have a great online community that's been developed with blogs and knowledge bases, unlimited learning. You know, it's our responsibility as Constructive Solutions and an Acumatica partner to understand your business requirements, lead you through your investigation to get you to a point where you're making an informed decision on the product that you're going to proceed with. Should you decide to proceed with Acumatica, we're going to then take you through the implementation. So we'll take you through a planning and a piloting phase. And then we look at getting data out of your old system to populate the pilot database so we can do our proof of concept and run and support you through your user acceptance training. Then we go and we look at all the data that you have in your existing system. We organize it into the new format, and we look at converting that data into Acumatica to meet your go-forward reporting requirements. And then lastly, we're there for your go-live support. So we're there for your first AP check run, and we're there for your first payroll, and for your first month-end close to ensure that the configuration and the training that's been delivered is supported as you go live and gain confidence in the use of the software. The Acumatica community and Acumatica University is awesome. They have hundreds and hundreds of videos that are there and available to anybody on your team. We give those videos out as learning, as homework. So if we're going to be working with your group specifically on accounts payable or accounts receivable or job costing, we're going to give you little vignettes and courses to go and watch in anticipation of the training that we're going to deliver to provide you with more better questions and a more in-depth understanding as we get into the training. You know, Acumatica has a modern technology stack. Back in 2008, when they were coming to market, they took a chance on some technologies to start developing their ERP solution in. And those were HTML5, the .NET Framework, and Visual Studio. Well, as it turns out, those technologies and tools have become the predominant toolkit for developing modern cloud-based ERP solutions. As I mentioned, the software, it's a software as a service, and it's hosted in Canada on Amazon Web Services or Azure. It's all been developed on a very robust SQL programming language and is very scalable and very secure. The XRP platform really allows for the interoperability. You know, things are changing, and before, the legacy-based construction software platforms had to do everything because there was no ability to integrate and no ability to move data between different systems. They were very closed systems in their nature. You know, from technology, from 20-year-old technology, which most of the products in the marketplace today were developed on. You know, so some of the tenets of Acumatica's Cloud XRP platform are, you know, it's localization, so French language, Spanish language, tax compliancy for Canada. So we meet all and understand all of the PST and the HST and the GST and all the CRA reporting requirements and all the EFT banking requirements. So those localizations, there's a Canadian localization package, you know, full document management, no limit to the number of companies, no limit to the number of how you group those companies, full intercompany accounting, multi-currency, consolidated financials across your group of companies. As I mentioned, in 2008, when they were beginning their journey and starting to build out their platform, mobile was in the forefront. So everything that's been designed has been designed with a mobile framework. These workflows and APIs I touched on, the workflows, you can create a workflow for anything within Acumatica. What do you do with a change order? What do you do when you issue a PO or a subcontract, or when you issue an invoice, a progress invoice to your customer? What do you do with a document? So there's that document management. It has the ability to check documents in and out, to version those documents, to attach those documents natively. So they're all available in the global search. So the visual workflows ties into the notification management. So you can be getting on-screen notifications that things are awaiting your review or approval. You can get texts, you can get emails on what's awaiting your approval and based on where you are in the workflow. These these APIs are the application interfaces that allow us to communicate with many other solutions in the construction in the construction marketplace. You know, I mentioned cross-browser, so any device that you're on is going to have access to your Acumatica software. They initially started out, these are the building blocks. You know, they have different versions, small business, advanced, and enterprise. They started out with financials and CRM, and then started to expand. So they came up with order management and a full inventory, procurement and inventory control system. They had project accounting in play, and then time and expense management. So initially they were for nonprofit and financials, and then they expanded into distribution and manufacturing with the development of their order management and their inventory control. As I mentioned, in 2016, they did a gap analysis and wanted to get into construction. So they built on the project accounting that they had, but they have job numbers and cost codes and cost types, and they have, you know, change management, and they have contract-based billing. So whether you're doing progress or lump sum or cost plus billings, they've designed that all into the system. They have holdback management on both your accounts payable and your accounts receivable as it relates to the contracts that you enter into with your customers. So all of the construction capabilities have been incorporated into the construction edition, and they have a full work order management, service management component for those specialty service contractors. So these are the different building blocks that allow them to go into these and have developed these industry-specific solutions. There was a question, what are the construction industry integrations? So you beat me to the punch, but here's, you know, I believe that we're transitioning with the newer technology stacks and these web service APIs. We have the ability to move data between any platforms. We can have calls of data and puts of data in the format that's required in any of the associated integrated applications. So natively, they have integration for Office 365. So any of the Office applications that you're in, you're integrating back. Power BI is like a business intelligence, so we can layer business intelligence on top of the Acumatica database to deliver the information that you require. Acumatica has native reporting and dashboards, which we'll go into. They also have native integrations with DocuSign. So if I'm spinning up a subcontract and I want to send that off to a subcontractor, from within Acumatica, I can create an envelope. I can send that off, that subcontract off for acceptance and signature to the subcontractor. When it's executed, it comes back into Acumatica, and the signed document is automatically embedded to the subcontract record. So integration with DocuSign and Adobe. You know, Procore is a collaborative project management platform. Initially started off doing drawing management and document control, and now has broadened their offering into many different spaces, some of which overlap, but we have many clients that integrate. So if you're issuing a subcontract or a purchase order in Procore, it sits as a committed cost in Acumatica. As costs come into Acumatica and are coded against the job and against the cost code and against the subcontract and purchase orders that were created in Procore, all of those costs are coming in so we can pay vendors and pay employees and do financials within Acumatica. Well, all of those costs that are entered into Acumatica are flowing through back into Procore. So when operations is looking at a job cost report and accounting is looking at a job cost report, they're always in sync. You know, Procore, ProS, which is an estimating platform, Smartsheet, which is a modern technologies equivalent to Microsoft Projects. All of these are software as a service, cloud-based, unlimited licensing, front-end solutions that all integrate back to Acumatica. So again, no longer is the ERP solution required to do your time capture and your equipment management and your resource planning and your equipment maintenance and your scheduling and your estimating. Again, these are point solutions that have been created that all integrate back to Acumatica. So you can meet the needs of your operational teams while also meeting the needs of your accounting group with no multiple entry, no double entry of data, making sure that everybody is on the same page. So as estimates are being finalized and bids are being awarded, that estimate comes through as an opening budget into Acumatica. As we move through that job and we're working with that job and entering costs and tracking the progress on how we are on that job, all the information is flowing between Procore and Acumatica. You know, we have paperless, more advanced paperless document management solutions that tie in and integrate. We have HR management solutions, payroll solutions, property management solutions. So, you know, a number of our clients are moving to more payroll as a service. So Ceridian and ADP. You know, within Acumatica, we can bring time in, we can code that time at either the employee or the crew or the superintendent level. We can take that time through an approval process when it's been coded to a job and a cost code. We can even take and have a burden rate table sitting in Acumatica that we apply to those employees and the hours, and we're getting real-time a reflection of real-time job cost as soon as that time is approved, even though they haven't been paid yet. With a number of our clients, what we're doing is we're taking the time and we're approving the time. We're sending a representation of the costs associated at that time through to the job. And then we're preparing a file that can be consumed by ADP or Ceridian to do the gross to net calculations. Once those calculations are done and the employees are paid, we're then consuming that information back into Acumatica at the GL level to offset the accrual that we've created for the job costs that we've made. So again, these are just some of the point solutions that we integrate with. I think, you know, we could open it up to questions if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'll move into the product to give you a 10-minute overview of the look and feel of the product and how one navigates through it, what the user interface looks like, dashboards, and then jump into a project and show you how we manage budgets and commitments and change orders and contract management through to our customers. I'm just going to go up to another tab in my browser. I'm using Chrome, but you could use any different browser. So I am in Acumatica right now. I've logged in as Patrick Baker. I have an administrative rights. Here is where you can see the different companies or different groups of companies that you're moving between. So there's no limit to the number of companies that we can manage in one instance in Acumatica. How we configure and group the companies is based on your reporting requirements and the relationship between the different companies that you manage. Throughout the system, there's always content-sensitive help. So I'm in a dashboard right now, and it's delivering dashboard type help to me. How do I How do I change? How do I add different things into my dashboards? How do I manage dashboards? Different concepts associated with it. I can jump to a blog on dashboards within the Acumatica community at any given time. Again, here, there's the whole concept of company, department, and division, depending on the nature of your business. If you have different regional offices based on geography, or different departments based on the scope and types of work that you do, all can be accommodated as we're configuring Acumatica to meet your specific requirements. On the left-hand side are what we call work groups. These work groups, I've ordered these work groups to support me in my demo today. But these will be areas that you want to allow access based on your user ID. When you log in and put in your username and your password, it drives what dashboards you see, what access you have to the different work groups. If you don't have access to inventory, then you won't see inventory in your work groups. I can edit and manage these. I can change the order of the sequence. So if I go into construction, for instance, these are the types of things that I manage in construction. So I have transaction types. I can create a new potential change order or an owner change order. I can run a pro forma invoice or a progress draw. I can set up a project. I can set up cost codes, budgets, budget forecasts, do cost projections. I can do all my forecasting projections within the system. I have inquiries and reports for job costs. Within here, I can look at a whole menu, which is showing me everything that's within construction, or I can have quick reference menus, so I can define which I want to see at a glance. I can create tiles for any of the tasks that I perform on an ongoing basis. You'll note that some of these have a yellow star beside them. By identifying and highlighting that as a favorite, it automatically comes up into my favorites. So in favorites, these are common tasks that my persona, Patrick Baker, uses on an ongoing basis. And again, I've set up my favorites because these are the areas within the software from all of the different work groups that I like to cover off. Any Zapier integrations? I'm not familiar with Zapier, Andrew, but if you want to elaborate, maybe we can address that. I'm just looking at the posted questions as we move through the presentation.
Oh, Patrick, I was looking there. I'm going to reach out to our Acumatica team and find out on that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tom.
Yep.
So within construction, here's the tasks that I like to go to and reports and inquiries that I go to on a regular basis. Within project management, we have a project management light, how I would describe it. So many of our clients require a more robust, full-featured, drawing-centric project management platform like a Procore, hence the integration that we have to Procore. But for those clients that aren't as drawing-centric, we have the ability to create issues, to transition those issues up to requests for information. Once we have a request for information, then we can turn that into a potential change order, what we call change requests, and tag statuses to them, and manage those potential change orders to ensure that those are becoming owner change orders and getting onto our contract so we can ensure that we're billing for all of the changes on the project. In addition, we have shop drawings and submittal management. We have daily field reports. We have photo logs. We have drawing logs where we can upload and share drawings within our team or outside of our team. And again, all of these tasks are available on your mobile device. So if I'm out in the field and I want to take a photo and I want to add it to the photo log for that job, I can do so. And it's automatically updating the instance in the cloud so everybody's on the same page. And so it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, you're all sharing the same data. So again, project issues, requests for information, daily field reports, drawing logs, photo logs, and shop drawings. Again, this continues to be built out on the roadmap. We're looking at a vendor portal where subcontractors can come in and post their invoices and go through the application for payment process, and then we can take that application for payment and flip it into an AP invoice. So those are project management features. We also have time and expense management. I talked about time entry and time capture, and then moving that time through an approval process. I think back the dashboard as I'm running a little short on time. The dashboard that I'm in is a project overview dashboard. One line per job. These are widgets, and I can add and take away widgets to meet my requirements. So I've got a cost by project. I've got a change order log across all projects that I'm managing. Gross profit by project. And again, each of these blue lines allow me to drill down into that job. This cost by project, I'm looking at my revised estimate, my cost to date, my open commitments, remaining estimate and a percent driven from that. Here I can drive to any one of these potential change orders within the system. We can have things like job site cameras. You can embed websites. You know, you can embed pivot tables, which are, you know, an Excel overlay on top of your Acumatica data. You know, further down, I have our Constructive Solutions website, you know, so you can have vendors that you work with on an ongoing basis, or places that you need to go weather to find out what weather you can expect for the job that day. There's a contract status report by project, right? When we set up a job, we set up the contract. We define the billing relationship with the customer and the type of contract, and then we do all of our invoicing out of Acumatica, and we manage all the holdback associated with that. So this is one particular dashboard. There's different dashboards that ship with. If I go to a project manager dashboard, this is more about me as a project manager, and so it has my project issues and my ball in court, and it has my overdue tasks and the tasks that are awaiting my review, you know, the billing. So this is all more about my persona, and these are the change order logs that I'm managing, not all change order logs, the items that are waiting for me to approve within the system. So a little more centric on the individual. If we come here and we get into, you know, there's controller dashboards. Again, these all ship with the software, and we can make modifications to any of these by going into the design and adding different widgets to information that I would like to see. You get some cash positioning and cash flow. I get my cash required and my cash anticipated. Over spend records into those. From the dashboard, I can drill down into a project. I've drilled down into my, you know, my Burnaby Business Park. The job number is user definable. Here, these are some attributes on the project. Do I want to use certain workflows? What currency is the project in? You know, multi-currency, so I can set up companies in currencies, jobs in currencies. I can issue POs in currencies. I can enter AP invoices in currencies. And it manages all the different currencies for us. If I want to go and get more detail on this particular project, I can go to the cost budget. So now I'm looking at this job at the cost code level and the cost type. So we have the concept of a cost code, which is an activity, and we also have a cost type, equipment and labor and overhead and material and subcontract. So here I'm looking at an original budget, changes that budget to a revised budget. Here I have all my commitments, so any purchase orders or subcontracts that have been issued. I then move into what my actual costs are, costs that have come in from AP and job cost and payroll. And then I can look at variances and what projected costs, what my forecast cost at complete might be. If I want to go and see I can look at this at a grouping, so I have this concept of task. This particular demo database, so here's all these are my tasks that I set up. I just so happen that my tasks align to my schedule of value of which I'm going to build a project. So at any point in time, here's my contract, and these are my schedule of value line items, and then you see the change orders coming in that have been approved that we can then progress down against. So here I have all my schedule of value line items. When I go back to my cost budget, I can group by all my cost codes by task, so I can see actually where my costs are in comparison to where my budget is, or where my revenue schedule of value is for when I'm billing. If I want to go through, here's a little profit and loss on this project telling me exactly how we're tracking and what our anticipated profits are. So I have some original budget and potential change orders, budgeted change order amount, revised budgeted amount, you know, my commitment detail, what my actual amounts are, and the variance. In any of these grids, you get to control which grid items you want to see and the order of the grids. Whenever I'm in a particular grid, I can always take it out to Excel, or I can upload from Excel. So if I want to get my original budget into Acumatica, I can take it from an Excel spreadsheet coordinated at the appropriate level, typically the cost code, and I can upload that in. Here I have a breakdown of all the POs and subcontracts on this particular job. You can see all the invoices that we've invoiced our customer on this job. I can see all the potential change orders. I come over here and I go active. Here's my potential change orders that are open on this job. Open, on hold. Here's my owner change orders that have been approved on this particular job. So again, these change orders that have been approved are now moved on to my schedule of values, so I can build them. I can start progressing down against those change orders. We do full compliance management on your subcontracts. You know, we have a global search. So if a vendor calls in and they want to find they're asking about an invoice, I can come in and I can punch in that invoice. Nothing found because I never do this right, but 95963. When I identify the invoice number, I can then drill right into that invoice. So this is going to take me to my AP invoice entry grid. And I can start looking at details about this invoice to see the status of it and where it is. So there's the invoice number. It was against this PO. So we issued a PO. And this invoice was distributed against the job and against the PO. You know, up here, if I come to my files, if you're using the paperless AP approval capabilities within the system, you know, it'll create a docket. So I have a copy of the invoice. On the next page, I can see the PO that it was related to, what we ordered, at what price, and the quantities. Here I have a full audit of when that invoice came in, how it was routed, who acquired it, who entered it, who approved it, who reviewed it and posted it. And I can see any packing slips or any supporting documents from the system that typically are a part of the AP approval process. And all of that is sitting as an attachment within the invoice record. So very powerful. You know, the search, if I go in and I start punching in bill, you talk about intuitive design. All you have to do is know how to spell. By putting in bill, it'll bring up every menu item that has bill in it. So whether it's I want to run my project billing, or I want to do an expense claim, or I want to receive against, you know, enter an invoice, issue a progress draw. Again, every menu item comes up. Any transaction and profile that has bill in it, help associated with bill. And again, you know, this is for invoices, this is customer billing, it's vendor billing, it's project billing. And again, you can find the relevant help that you require. Also, you know, getting back to the document management side, any attachments that have been put in to a bill are all sitting here and easily accessible. You know, if I go to approval, it'll bring up everything on my approval map. So if I come back to menu items, here I can go into my approval maps. So we have a few set up in our demo database. What do we do? What workflow do we want to initiate when we set up a project, when we enter an AP invoice, when we issue a PO, when we're managing expense claims, right? We have the ability in a mobile environment to create an expense receipt and take a picture of the expense receipt that you have in the field, then roll those expenses into claims. We can set up corporate credit cards and manage all of the receipts back to those credit cards or bank accounts. Right? So we have full capabilities. All of it's EFT ready. So instead of cutting checks to pay your vendors, you know, you're creating a file that's uploaded to the bank, and the bank is distributing the funds, and the Acumatica is automatically sending a remittance, a unique remittance to that vendor, letting them know which invoices are being paid on which day from which bank account. Same with employee payroll and sending out pay stubs. All of those capabilities are available within the system. Whenever I identify and move to my icon, it's always going to bring me back to my main dashboard. So hopefully that was able to provide, I'm happy to open it up to questions. I've already taken more time than we've asked for. You know, hopefully today I was able to provide you with an understanding of, if I go back to the agenda, you know, of who we are as Constructive Solutions, who Acumatica is corporately, and a high-level overview of their Construction Edition software. You know, it's our intention to follow up with you in the next couple of days. I know some of you have raised your hand already and said you'd like to get to a one-on-one demo. So we'll be reaching out to you to develop a plan to support you in your investigation. And we have a very structured buying cycle. Really, we're here to support and facilitate your buying, right? So we want to do a more detailed discovery to understand what your current state is and where you believe there's opportunity for improvement and efficiency. You know, we want to be shaping out the investment so you get an idea of what the annual subscription is going to be and what the one-time implementation and training fees are going to be to get you up and live and operational. We'll deliver a tailored demonstration to specifically show you how Acumatica will be able to meet the identified priorities that you have. We can finalize the investment. We'll provide you with references so you can talk to our clients about what it's like to deal with Constructive Solutions and what it's like to be operating within the Acumatica platform. And then really, we initiate the implementation. Typically from the time customers say, yes, we'd like to proceed to when you're going to be live, we're looking in the 90 to 150 day timeline. So, and that's dependent upon what we include in the initial phase, you know, the skill set and availability of your internal resources, and how busy we are. I think, you know, so I'm happy to stick around and we can go off and mute and have question and answers if you'd like. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time today. I hope you found the brief presentation informative, and I'll look forward to following up with each of you.
Thanks, Patrick. I don't see any questions in the chat here, so just a thank you message. So, yep, I think we're all good. I appreciate everybody's time and your time today, Patrick.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Pramod. Great job.
Thanks, everyone.
Talk later, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Patrick.